does.
Hello everyone, and of course, welcome to Red United TV. It's your boy Ivorian Spicer. We are back at it again with another podcast, another catch-up 135 or 36. I can't remember from the top of my head, but we're deep in it, 135. Of course, another show for where we discuss Manchester United's last game against Brighton. 3 points in the bag for us. Last game of the season, Manchester United secured 3 points. But we're also here to talk about the season review. You know, we've got a lot of things to discuss. Our player of the season, our thoughts on the manager, overall thoughts, goal of the season as well, and etc. So, guys, sit back, enjoy the next hour. I'm here with the man that we're about to discuss. We've got we've got Jerome and Depths in the building. It is what it is, man. Guys, enjoy, sit back, smash that like button, subscribe to Red United TV, share across all social media platforms as well. We're live across YouTube, Twitch, and also Rumble and X. So get yourself involved. Get yourself involved in the comments. Anything Manchester United related, make sure you post it in the comments. Even if it's not Manchester United related, it's about Arsenal or Manchester City. Yeah, drop it in there, especially Arsenal. And also, just remembered, all I want to say is that Arsenal, you men turned Super Saiyan for no fucking reason. The best defense in this league, scored the most goals, you get me? Conceded the least goals as well. Had the most points you can ever get in the longest time. And still lost. Still lost to Manchester City. But I'll be very honest with you. None of these Manchester City fans, we can't even hear them from London. They won the Premier League, but we can't hear jack shit because there's no fans. There's no City fans. Let me introduce you guys to the panel as we get straight in. We've got Jerome, we've got Depth. Big up you, mans, as well. Us three in the building. I'm hoping that Ems will join us, but Ems did say he might let me know if he might not be able to come, and it looks like he might not be able to come on the show, man. No diddy, bro. But yes, big up to you, man. So, Jerome, first of all, how are you, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm all blessed. Enjoyed the weekend. The sun's out, so I can't complain. Glad the season's over.
It's almost over. We have one more game.
Or unofficially over because I don't know what we're going to do next week. But it's good to know that it's coming to a close. We can look forward to what's ahead in the summer. Look forward to next season because it's been a disappointing year. And yeah, we can only look forward and hopefully build some optimism during the summer.
Yes, that's right, man. Of course, big up to Boxing In It, who's tuned in today on Twitch as well. Says, "Well, what's up, boys?" As well, we're back. We're talking about Manchester United. That's what I like to hear. And Deps, big up to you, my bro. How you been so far? How was your weekend?
Yeah, man, happy with the victory, bro.
You don't look too happy with that victory, you know.
Who, me?
Yes, you got everyone's face, every Manchester United fan's face.
No, it looks to be deceiving, man. Shouldn't judge the book by its cover with the other shit, man.
Or are you saying you're smiling on the inside? Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's a good weekend still.
Yes, it's a good weekend. A big boxing fight as well. It's Usyk versus Fury. We'll probably talk about that towards the end, maybe the last 2 minutes, you know. But yes, as guys, you know, Usyk beat Fury as well. So smash that like button. You know, I'm happy to see Usyk beat Fury. That Dosa as they call him. But let's get straight into it because, of course, we're here to talk about Manchester United, and let's talk about that review before we get to the season review because it is Brighton 0, Manchester United 2. Manchester United collecting 3 points, man. 3 points out of those scumbags. You know what I had to say? This time last season, first game of the season where we played Brighton and Brighton smacked us up 3-0. We played them at home again, away at their ground, the last game of the season, and we finally got something right. We corrected our mistakes from last season in that one game, beating Brighton at the beach. Brighton man them up, you know, shit on the Seagulls themselves and getting 3 points. But again, at the same time, I have to say, the first 45 minutes, what the fuck was that? It was absolutely horrible. But for somehow we scumbag our way through a victory. We just scumbag our way to get 3 points. The boys done it somehow. Big up to some of the players as well. Big up to Diogo Dalot. That keeps proving depths wrong all the time. You know, week in, week out. Probably the best player, the most improved player. But we'll talk about that later on. Big up to Rasmus Højlund, who keeps proving me. He's proved me wrong twice. You know, he's told me to shut my mouth. And of course, he screw fade, say everything. He's doing this to me. He's like, yo, Ivorian Spice. Like, I told you, man's the shit, but we'll see what happens. But luckily, we got that 3 points. I'm going to throw it to you, Jerome, and let me get your overall thoughts. You've got like 3 minutes to let me know what your overall thoughts on that game was, man. So it's over to you, bro.
Yeah, I only watched the highlights, to be honest with you, because
highlights, yeah.
I've been on these highlights for the last 2 weeks. I can't even lie because United have been abysmal, innit? And I'm not trying to waste my weekends on the shit show. But from what I saw in those highlights, like you said, Brighton were all over us in that first 45 minutes, and we were lucky to go in at 0-0 because we could have at least been 2 or 3 goals down. It was just the same scenario that we've been seeing all season, just teams just running through us, running through our empty midfield, cutting through that defence. Shout out to Onana because he played well, made some good saves in that first half. So we weathered the storm with our sort of makeshift injury hit team. And then obviously we came out in the second half, it was a bit more improved. And then looks like we scored on the counter-attack. A good long pass through from Casemiro. And obviously Dalot showing us that he's our player of the season, getting involved in the play, playing wherever he's being asked to play. I think he started off at left back, and he's just showing how adaptable and technical he is. Coming out with another goal. I don't know how much goals he scored, but he scored at least 4 from what I can remember this season. So shout out to Dalot, and then obviously Rasmus came off the bench because obviously Rasmus hasn't been playing well for the last 2 months or so. So it looks like the manager was just trying to give him a breather. So he came on fresh, and it was a well-taken goal from him. So it was pleasing to see that we signed off the season with a win and finally a clean sheet, because we don't have that many this season to sort of be proud of. But a win's a win at the end of the day. It just shows us what work needs to be done for next season, because even though we won the game, we're still getting run through, and that can't happen next season because the league's going to get stronger or more competitive next season. So hopefully the manager can see, based on the performance that he saw, what changes are required if he manages to survive his job for another season. And we can only get better from here because we scored 57 goals all season, and it showed that we just haven't got the formula right from back to front. So hopefully, as I keep saying, next season we work towards improving on that formula, because right now it's just a shambles. And even though we won the game, it wasn't an enjoyable watch. Just seeing the opposition create so many chances against us and finish the game with more expected goals than us as well. So obviously we did. I think they finished on 55% possession as well to our 45%. So we need to avoid too much of these smash and grab type wins and actually control the game. So there's a lot of work to do, and we signed up with a win, but overall the season it's been a massive disappointment.
Been a massive disappointment in general and a devastating. It's been a shit season, as you can see in our title as well. It's the worst season ever. I'm going to pass it on to you, Deps. What was your overall thoughts against Manchester United, Brighton 2-0, bruv?
I was just happy to see Barada talking to Wilcox, and they looked like they were trying to get.
Barada, no, it was Wilcox speaking to. Just to correct you, Wilcox was speaking to Bradford. Barada's not there. He hasn't started his job yet.
That's that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
it was
it looked like United, they wanted to get the recruitment done in it, because what was on the pitch was horrid in it. So like right now I'm watching the game, but there's nothing to talk about in it. Like if you're gonna talk about like what Ten Hag's talking about, like moments, and there was moments in it, but they don't make the highlight reel and they ain't winning us games in it. I think Højlund looked positive when he came on. I think he found a lot more space just by dropping in deep into tired legs, and they left pockets. I think Ahmad did all right. He cut into the centre circle quite well, linked up play there quite well. And I think Martinez was the reason why we didn't even concede the first half, because it was that poor still. Him and Onana, like literally the Ten Hag signings came on and just done the business for us, man. The rest of it was shit, man.
Absolute shit, man. And you know what? I have to agree with you, sir. I actually love to see an actual technical director discussing, and you can tell he was. You one of your favorite things is tactics, Depths, and you can see that he was pointing at the ground, pointing there and there, like speaking to him like, "This is not right. This is not the way Manchester United should be playing. You know, the players are not supposed to be running into this position. They're supposed to be running into this position." Like you saw Wilcock just pointing at the pitch and then using his fingers, making it look like they're discussing football. And it's nice to see, because I can never imagine that with Darren Fletcher, who's now probably now is a coach. I never imagined that when they were the Glazers and Ed Woodward there as well, and also John Murtough and the other brother that left as well, man. I could never imagine that taking place. Richard Arnold, they never sat down, watched Manchester United and started pointing and talking tactics and how we should be playing on camera. They've never done that in our lifetime, but it's nice to see that, man. And a big up to Manchester United to get those 3 points, because imagine if we lost, man, it would have been hell. It would have been peak for us again, man. And those who are watching, Manchester United finishing 8th in the league, which means that Manchester United are banking on beating Manchester City in the FA Cup to qualify for the Europa League. Because right now, if we don't win, we get no Europe. I want to know if that's a good thing for Manchester United to get no Europe and just focus on the league and the 2 domestic competitions, which is the League Cup and the FA Cup for next season. Before I even get there, I want to get you guys overall, what's it called? Your man in the match, don't give the match the game, and then your thoughts on if it's a good thing if we miss out on Europe. I want to start with you, Jerome. Your man in the match, if you have one, don't give the match if you have one, and your thoughts on whether it's a good thing if Manchester United don't finish in a European qualifying position.
Yeah, I think I'll have to give it to Onana for man of the match. It was a toss-up between Onana and Dallo, but I'd have to give it to Onana because he made some good saves and good blocks in that first half. Because just from the highlights alone, It looked like it was just Brighton against Onana, really. So he basically saved us. He got his clean sheet, which he worked extremely hard for. So I'll give that to him. In terms of Donkey in the match, that's a bit of a difficult one. But I didn't see Bruno in the game. Also, it's difficult to give Donkey when your team's won, but I didn't see much of him, to be honest. So he's our captain, and when we're under the cosh, he just seems to be nowhere to be seen. So for that reason, I'll give it to him. Although some might think I'm being a bit harsh, but yeah, I expect a bit more from our captain.
Bruno forever just getting these strays and nails, man. Even when he's that's what about you, man? Who is your donkey of the match and your man of the match? And also, no, Jerome, you never answered the other last question before.
All right, the last question. Yeah,
Yes.
that's an interesting one that you asked, because I would love us to be in the Europa League, because it gives us another route to get into the Champions League by winning the competition. Because next season it's going to be tough to get into the top four, based on how many points we assembled this season and how difficult it's going to be to get rid of the players. And the jury's still out on whether Ineos are going to do this open heart surgery. And if that doesn't happen, and we're still seeing Bruno, Maguire, Scott, and Rashford as our main guys, then we're better off just trying to get into the Europa League, because with that core, we're not getting top four. So in that sense, I'd rather us get Europa League. But on the other flip side, it would be good to just be able to just focus just on the Premier League, domestic competitions. It gives the team more time to work on things and coach and build a philosophy in training. But the thing is, I said that earlier. I said that in December when we got knocked out of the Champions League. And we've been playing one game a week since January, and we got worse by playing one game a week. So I'm hoping that it will flip around this time, and I think it's a win-win for us, really, if I'm going to be honest with you. Win, getting the Europa League, and if not, then more time for training and working on things. But based on this season, it could go either way. One could work out, one could just be absolutely poor. But I would rather us be in Europe, to be honest, because playing one game a week, like, you want to see your team playing, innit? Week in, week out, 2 games a week. Like Chelsea fans and the teams that have been playing one game a week for the last couple of years, it's just boring having to wait just for your team to play just the weekend. You want to just support your team and watch as much games as possible and have more stuff to look forward to.
I guess so. And for you, Depsworth, your man of the match, donkey of the match, and also, do you think it's a good thing for Manchester United to miss out on Europe?
Man of the match, I want to give it to Højlund. I think Højlund, I don't know, I'm impressed with what I've seen from him. You know, he's come off the bench this time, as you know, a lot of the men didn't feel like he should, and he's bagged in it, like what he's supposed to do. So you know, he's done what we've been thinking that he's capable of, and when he's actually been in the game, he's seriously had an impact. You know, I know the highlight reels are showing the goals, but he created chances. He looked lively, stretch play. He dropped in deep. He was holding up the ball in pockets. I feel like being involved on tired legs shows, you know, his youth, so he's enthusiastic, so he will get into good positions on tired legs. And the donkey of the match got McTominay, man. He was useless. Like he has zero impact in the game. Like literally, like I think there was an opportunity where he headed the ball back. Like he tried to flick it on, tried to do a Ten Hag tactic, the same tactic that Dalot actually made the run through. He tried to do it, and he headed the ball straight back into Lallana and created an opportunity for Brighton. It was the guy is a horrible player, man. And the Europe thing, obviously, like I'm unsure, man. I think a big club like United and now has a massive squad. Like the squad is like what, over 26 man deep. How you just gonna field 11 players a game, hoping that these guys are fit? You know, right now, if I was Ineos, I'll be upset that we ain't got Europe. You know, as a fan, I'm upset that we don't have Europe. If I was Ineos, I'd be upset that we don't have Europe. Obviously, it might do good for our season, innit? So, you know, like we have time to train and practice. But to do that, to do what we're doing now, I do feel like you're gonna have to trim that squad. Like there's
Yeah.
no other option but to trim that squad now that we're playing less games.
Yeah, because exactly we're playing less games, so that means we
So it
don't
might be a
need that
blessing
much
in it. It
players.
might be a blessing in disguise doing that as
Is
well.
Yeah,
it
just have
they
a
want
leaner squad, innit? Just a
what?
more
That's it.
leaner squad. Because if you're right, because if the squad's too big, you're gonna have loads of players sitting around not playing and getting frustrated, and that's not good for the morale of the team.
Exactly. And the one thing you said, which is funny, because imagine if we're playing one game a week. We've seen our team play one game a week, and still the training or what they're supposed to be learning in training still hasn't materialized. But you know what? I always want Manchester United to be as much competition as they can be, because of course we want to see our team play as often as possible instead of once a week, man. My man of the match has to go to Dalot. Donkey of the match, I don't have one. But I would like to see Manchester United try and get that Europa League. I hear that people don't want to be in the Europa League. They don't want to be traveling to Kazakhstan and all that kind of stuff. And places like Luxembourg and Switzerland and all that kind of stuff. And unknown places that you've never heard of. But being in Europe is important. It's really important for Manchester United to always be in Europe, regardless whether it's the first, second, or third tier. Let's go straight into the season review, because we're done with that. Move on to season review, where we discuss the overall season. So, guys, one by one, I'm gonna go to you quickly. Just round up your overall thoughts. I'll go last of the season. I'll give you 2 minutes each, including myself. I'm gonna start with Depps, and then I go to Jerome. Depps, 2 minutes start now. Your overall thoughts of Manchester United's season.
Yeah, well, start of the season, I had hope in it because obviously Ten Hag bought well last season. We finished strong before Maguire entered the team again. So I thought, you know, you made strong decisions. You keep Maguire out of the team, which is what we was hoping for what, 2 years, and he done it. He had the strength to do it, and it went like I don't even blame Ten Hag. I don't blame the players because he's probably sat them down and spoke to them and said, "You're not playing again in it," and then all these injuries like happened, and now they're all back in the team in it. So things has 100% happened behind the scene in it,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously it's just been a collapse of a season since the injuries. You know, having no left back, 38 games almost. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's like all the change. I don't know the numbers, but the changes and having only one registered striker and
Mm-hmm.
like the team's been like it's been mismatched like a lot of the time against opponents, and you know we've literally been the weaker team on paper and betting odds, walking into almost every game, and the title Manchester United has carried us through a lot of games. So glory to United every time, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? Like if that title can carry guys like Harry Maguire through a season, and do you get what I'm saying? And youth players having to win it for us. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Yeah, man. Vamos United, man.
Vamos, indeed, man. Hopefully, they can carry that Vamos into next season, because we've missed a lot of Vamos this season. Our core Vamos players weren't there throughout the whole season. Casemiro wasn't there throughout the whole season. Lisandro Martinez as well, and so many others of key players. Even Luke Shaw to an extent, but bun that scrub, man. Jerome, overall thoughts of Manchester United's season?
Yeah, this season on the whole has been an awful season. Like one that we just want to forget and just move on with as swiftly as we can. Started off at home to Wolves. We had Bruno and Mount starting together, and we just got absolutely terrorized to run through at Old Trafford. Onana ended up spearing someone playing rugby, and for some reason it wasn't given as a penalty. And then Onana did it recently, and they gave the penalty this time. They thought, no, you're not getting away with it this time. So we rolled our luck, got the 1-0 when I think Varane scored the header, and it just sort of set the tone for the rest of the season. Just teams rolling up to Old Trafford, wherever we went, whoever we played, whether it was Newport, Wigan, Coventry, we were just going through the trenches, literally just everyone just thinking that we're just some little man team, innit? Just run through us, innit? like no sort of authority in our team, no leadership. It was just frustrating to see that there was no signs of improvement. And then obviously this Champions League campaign started, and we were optimistic going back into Europe after we were going back into Europe's top tier. So because obviously we were in the Europa League the season prior, and then just to see us get outplayed by teams that on paper, with all due respect, you expect to just beat comfortably. Copenhagen, Galatasaray, just conceding stupid goals. Every time we had a lead, we were always let it slip, like more often than not, regardless of who we played. We were just struggling to keep clean sheets, conceding hella shots throughout the campaign. Then also we finished the Champions League campaign with just 4 points. I think that's our lowest ever in the Premier League era. Finished bottom and out of Europe. Carried on. The only thing that kept us going was that we were getting some good draws in the FA Cup, got us through to the final. And then admittedly, it wasn't helped by the growing number of injuries that we were getting. But it just wasn't adding up from what I was, from the outside looking in. It looked like players just gave up and just couldn't be asked. And then all of a sudden, everyone that stepped on the pitch just got injured. That's how it felt. It felt like just play a game and at least 1 or 2 people will get injured per game. That's how it was feeling, literally. Someone will just come on. I think even Ahmed came on the other day and got injured. Mm-hmm. But luckily, he was all right for the next game. And then the lack of goals, the lack of chances created, the injuries to the defence, having to put Casemiro there, Casemiro making hella mistakes but still playing there. It was just like the organisation, the functionality of the team throughout the season has just been shambolic. Like I can't remember any performance that was like solid from start to finish. We're just a moments team at the moment, and the manager needs to work on that. If he survives, he needs to work on it. We can't be playing in moments. We need to be controlling games and acting like a Man United team, not playing like some backs to the wall, just survival football. No, we need to be going out there and putting our chest out and showing that we're a team to be reckoned with. Because right now, no one's respecting us right now, and we need to get that respect back. So the assessment of the season is, like when there's a ranking, there's excellent and there's good, average, below average, and poor. I think we're below poor. We're below poor.
Below poor.
Not bad, it was below poor.
Peak. It's peak.
Finished on -1 goal difference.
Not
scored
good.
57 goals, just 57.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, not creating chances. Finished the season on 60 points, which I think is our second lowest in Premier League history. So he didn't have that record in his resume because that was only in Ralph with the 58%. We can only get better from next season. We can't get any worse than this. And I hope that we get a better injury record next season, because if we have the same number of injuries as we see, then that means there's something wrong with the manager's methods. Because you can't have 2 years running with everyone just dropping down like flies. So the assessment, it's been poor, and the manager's going to be lucky to hold on to his job based on this performance of the season.
Yes, the season has been one hell of a awful season. I've been asking to stop like a long time ago. I've been saying end of the season like for a while. But Manchester United this season has been, I think, one of the worst seasons we've ever had since we've been watching Manchester United play. Finishing 8th. I know Arsenal's finished 8th a couple of times, but it's our turn to hold that 8th place. The fact that we might not even qualify for Europe the following season, it just really just puts us back to how bad things are. To Manchester United to have a season without Europe is peculiar. It's just the unknown. I've never heard of that. I don't know what it's like to not have Europe.
Actually, we had that under Louis van Gaal in the first season because of Moyes.
Because of Moyes' dead ass season. That's because of. But that was such a long time ago. And that was just once in a blue moon. But it's never. It's just unknown. This is going to be could potentially be the second time with Manchester United this season. The lack of consistency, the injuries, and I don't want to use injuries as a reason to blame, but injuries do take up a toll when you have your best players who plays that allows you to play a system. But then again, you don't be depending on players to operate to play a system. It should be dependent on your tactics and your structure of how you want to play to be implementing and affecting the system, not just play. Because I know personnel, have the effect of how good that system is, but your system needs to be good first, because your system should just only what it should be doing is allowing players to play better than they usually play. Your average baller looks like a good baller. You know what I'm saying, guys? You've seen it a lot of times with shit players, average players play for a good manager playing good football, and all of a sudden they look good, like it's normal. So again, the injuries did hurt us, but it's the performance week in, week out. The only game I remember seeing Manchester United starting well and ending well was the Crystal Palace Carabao Cup, where there was no Bruno, there was no Rashford, and Manchester United played well. The Champions League was an embarrassment. The Champions League was just one of the lowest points that I think, as a Manchester United fan, we've ever experienced, because to go out like that, go out of Europe in total, to lose those games home and away in winning positions as well, criminal for Manchester United. And I know as well, it was his first 6 months which he found it difficult, but it is what it is with Manchester United. I'm hoping the better season. I hope that we don't have that. I know that we won't have that injury that we had this season. I'm sure they're going to be focusing on that medical team and say we can't let what happened last season happen next season, and I'm sure they'll be getting rid of players who are injury prone. So let's see what happens. Let's move it up from the season overall thoughts, and then I'll move up to another topic in the season review, as we've got the next 25 minutes, and then you just go straight to my list. As I boom. Remember, guys, smash that like button. Again, we're back next week, Monday, for the final catch up, which will be the buy, sell, or keep, and of course the FA Cup final. And then, of course, the show takes a break until next season, where I will probably be the only one doing news. So yes, as I was saying, guys, let me just go find one of you guys. So let's move it on. Ten Hag. I'm gonna give everyone 2 minutes of Ten Hag's performance at this season as a manager. And I'm gonna start first. Let me just time myself. I've got 2 minutes. When you hit the TikTok, it means you got 30 seconds left, guys. Ten Hag has been shit this season. This season in particular, and he's been delusional. To this day, it's been more than 18 months, and we don't see tactics. We don't see a philosophy being shown. We just hear excuses. It's starting to sound a bit like Ollie, when Ollie keeps saying, "Oh, this week we've had a good week." Like, how, Ollie? We've just got packed in by Watford 5-1. Like, we've just been packed in. Like, how do you say we have a good week? That we're learning things when on the pitch we're not learning things, And you stop smiling, Ollie. Ten Hag is lying to our faces with his bald head, saying, and of course, there's been so many things as well. And the way he had to manage his players, Rashford, Sancho, the biggest disappointment is these players that just all of a sudden made themselves unavailable as well. The Martial situation, I find it iffy that he can be injured throughout the whole season. I know he had an operation, but it's a bit weird to me. It's like he gave up on his career at Manchester United. The Malacia thing, it's just the unknown. Like, I just don't know what's going on with Tyrone Malacia. Big up to Jesse Upton that says get Ten Hag out. Obviously, 14 losses, 83 goals conceded, 8th place, and a negative goal difference. And the fact that we're on -1, -1, I don't care, bro. Like, I shouldn't be seeing Manchester United being on -1, and you manage this shit. But again, there's a lot, and I'm sorry. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and just blame the manager throughout everything, because it is a shared blame. It's a blame on the manager, blame on the players, and I always say blame on the board as well, because they fucked up. The Glazers decided to sell Manchester United after the transfer windows closed in summer. The best time to sell Manchester United, which you had a whole year to do, was before the transfer window opened in the summer. You decided to sell Manchester United midway through, and it didn't get finalized until February when the transfer window was closed. Do you see? What I'm talking about? Ownership also is part to blame. They did it to themselves. They did it to us as well. The manager's been shit. I've had my 2 minutes, and I believe it's now I'm gonna go to you, Jerome. Your thoughts on the manager's performance this season?
Yeah, the manager's performance. It's been diabolical. I can't even try and back the manager right now, because it's one thing that saying that we've been playing well, And then there's another thing that's just lying to our faces and making us think that we're just some idiots that don't understand the game. Because he was saying that we're the most entertaining team in the league. He's saying one thing that struck me is where he said that we're not set up to be playing any football that we played that he played at Ajax. So he's basically saying that we're not ever going to see that here. And I thought that's what we brought him in for, to play that attacking possession-based football. So if he's saying that we're not going to be playing that, we're just going to be doing this counter-attacking thing, then yeah, just get rid, because you might as well just keep Ollie if that's all he's looking to do, because we need to be playing front football and getting with the times. All that football that was done 10 years ago. We need to start moving forward now. The Sancho situation, the Rashford, the Anthony. I know he's had a lot of stuff to deal with in his defence. But the main thing for me is that we just haven't seen any philosophy. Even despite the injuries, I haven't seen any inclination or anything to work with. Like, I will give an example. When Klopp first came to Liverpool, I think they finished 8th in their first season, but they got to the Europa League final. Was it the Europa League or the Carabao Cup final?
Europa League final.
Yeah, they got to a final and they finished 8th, but you could see what he was doing in his very first season. So Liverpool fans, they've had something to look forward to. There's optimism there because he was building something. But with our manager, in his first season, obviously we got the third place in the Carabao Cup, but the football was still dead overall. And we thought, yeah, that's just to get the foundations, isn't it? Just build a solid defence, and then hopefully in the second season you can go forward with your philosophy. But we've gone backwards. We're playing worse football than we did in the first season. So it just seems to me that he doesn't really have a plan, because I thought that was the plan, to come in and build a team and build a philosophy. But at the moment, he's bought poorly overall, and he spent a lot of money, and we seem to be worse off than when he first came in, or just about, because obviously he came in with 58 points and now we're on 60, but we finished in a worse position in 8th place, potentially out of Europe. So it's difficult to keep him on based on that, particularly because we've got a new ownership structure now, and I'll just find it strange if the ownership, they put in 1.5 billion to get a 25% stake just to keep things how they are. We've seen all the changes that they've made with the backroom administration team, and it will just be odd to just make all those changes but keep the manager. So I can only see it going one way. I just think, I think it's time to change, time to get a new manager in. As long as it's not Southgate, then there should be some optimism to take us forward. But basically, if you was to give someone an appraisal on their performance, you have to look at what they're doing now. Don't be looking at what they did in the first season. That first season was the first season. You'd have been appraised for that, and you kept the job. Now it's the second season, you failed, and now it's time to move on. This is Man United. I know a lot of people say that, but we're one of the biggest clubs in the world, and there's standards to maintain. We're not like a mid-table team where you can just, we finished 10th, so it's fine. Do better next year. These elite clubs, it's either you meet your targets or you move on. And he hasn't met his targets. 8th place is not a Man United target. That's our lowest ever league position. And if it was Oli or anyone else in charge of Mourinho, everyone will be calling for them to be sacked, especially if it was Mourinho. So I've got to keep the same energy. And finishing 8th that's not acceptable for a club like Man United, especially with the amount of money that we spent. Yeah. So we need to make the change.
I'm going to stop you there, Jerome, and move straight to Depths as well. Depths, let me get your thoughts on the manager's overall thoughts on the manager's performance this season.
It ain't been great. I feel like the man himself could have made a lot more clinical decisions. I feel like he's been used to dominant football in it. So in terms of making, the slightest decisions, like simple decisions, like substitutions, he's had teams where even a mistake in a substitution could have got victory in it. And now to make substitutions is like life or death at this club right now, because these guys ain't giving them any help in it. So I think he's been a bit unfortunate in terms of injuries and the type of personnel that he's had to play his tactics, you know, understanding what he wants from players and understanding what players are able to give. You know, half of these players have played defensive football for about 4, 5, 6 years now. So to instantly get that transition of play, to change from defensive football to offensive football, like getting crosses out of Aaron Wan-Bissaka and, you know, tactical defense, freedom out of Scott McTominay. He's trying things in it, you know. These are like British unflared players. So, you know, he's not, he ain't got the players to play what we see at Liverpool or Arsenal or City, you know, them tactical flair players that can do it week in, week out. So he struggled, you know, especially with the injuries as well. But, you know, me, I love Ten Hag in a sense where, like, he got rid of some scrubs, fam. He got rid of the guys that they don't deserve to be at this club, innit? So just for that, I feel like the man deserves, you know, a round of applause to get through a season that difficult, innit? Obviously, was watching Ferguson, was talking about Ferguson and how he went through something very similar before he achieved success in it, just by kicking out the scrubs that were there and replacing them with youth players. And it's like Ten Hag has the same on his plate in it. So he has to see where he can go forward in this Ineos project, because to rely on what he's relied on, he can see the end result. This is not the first time other managers has relied what he has relied on in it. You know, these players are supposed to be star players, whether senior players are injured or not in it. Like, these players were brought into the team, they'd be other managers' star players in it. So yeah, there's no true excuse with what has happened, because a winner's a winner in it. But in his defense, I do believe that the tools that he's been given to build a house, it's not acceptable in it. Like, a screwdriver is not acceptable to build a house in it.
Yeah, I hear
Or
that, man.
fridge.
That's your thoughts on the manager. So I already gave you guys my thoughts. Again, we move up to the next topic now. We've got the managers' overall thoughts on the managers. Those who watch, you smash that like button, guys, and share across all social media platforms. Subscribe to Red United TV. We're moving on straight to the signing of the season involving the manager. We've signed Mason Mount. We signed Altay Bayenda, Andre Onana, Rasmus Højlund, Sofian Amrabat on loan. Am I missing anyone?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Amrabat, Bayenda, the goalkeeper.
We've got loan.
Johnny Evans on the free.
We've got that Spurs left back on loan and sending back.
Regulon, yeah, went back. Rasmus Højlund. That's about 7 transfers this season that's coming. Signing any one of them as you're signing the season, I'm gonna go with oh my god.
Signings have been pathetic, man.
If signings have been pathetic, right? The best person I can probably go for is either Rasmus Højlund or Andre Onana. And signing the season so far, who has impressed me for what they have done, you'll laugh. But Rasmus Højlund, to me, has to go for signing the season. Based on the fact that we got him when he scored, 9 goals? Ended up scoring 16 goals, even though at times he wasn't there at times, never really got involved in goals, but just in games. But just imagine next season when he fully adapts to the team and he has wingers. When we've always said this before, no one feeds him. Majority of the goals, he gets the ball and runs and then he scores. Like, he's hardly been scoring tap-ins as he should be, because you look at me, you've seen the type of striker he has. He likes to run onto the ball, run onto things and finish it off. He should be scoring way more tap-ins. But when you've got Garnacho, greedy Rashford, who do not live to feed their strikers or other players who don't love assist for some reason. Them men don't love assisting, man. If you go out on a night out with them, they can never be a wingman because they'll never assist you, bro. You'd be like, I like that girl. Next thing you know, they're talking to them and trying to get their number, and they're not even assisting you. They're not even talking to the mates. They're going for the girl that you more because they're so greedy. But it is what it is, man. But I'm gonna go with Rasmus Højlund for my signing of the season. Jerome, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rasmus Højlund as well. There was a lot of optimism when we first signed him. He scored some good goals in the Champions League as well, and he was showing that he does have a good finish in him. like some good cultured finishing. Obviously, he struggled to adapt in the Premier League, but I would give him some grace because, like he said, we've got some wingers that just don't provide. Some can't cross, and a lot of them just keep coming in and cutting in and shooting and not creating. So it's made it harder for Rasmus to get involved in the game and get chances to score. Because I did expect him to score more than he has, but I'll still make him the signing of the season, and partly because a lot of our signings haven't stepped up. So I'll definitely give it to Rasmus, and I think if we can get another striker in to support him, a more experienced striker, that could help ease the pressure on him because we shouldn't be relying on a 19-year-old striker to lead the line at a big club like Man United. But overall, yeah, he's definitely has to be our best signing, and he's got longevity in him as well. If we can get him performing and just nurturing.
And for you, Deps, who's been your signing of the season?
Yeah, full house, man. Rasmus Højlund. I think he's been magnificent. I think he's been terrific. You know, I can't remember the last time United or any club, to be honest, has signed a 19-year-old. Forget the price tag, because that's on the club itself, innit? But signed a 19-year-old and they was able to do what he's been able to do. You know, he hasn't come through youth development or anything like that. United had literally gone out, signed a 19-year-old. Like what it kind of felt like what they did with Martial, you know, and he's come into the club and he showed so much promise in it. You know, to score like that many goals in sequence, to say, raw, like, you can score 6 games, 7 games in a bounce and 5 Champions League goals. Like, that's, as a teenager, that's unheard of. I can't remember the last time I can't remember the last time I
Debs, I just want to interrupt you, and the fact that nobody really was assisting him. On top of
yeah, that too, but that too, but it's a thing where, like, raw, like, United's been like that anyway, you know? Like, United's now swapped from the forward that wants to run behind the defense from old forwards like Cavani and Ibrahimovic. So it's literally something completely different, you know. Forwards like Cavani and Ibrahimovic, they make their own chances anyway. So obviously him too has to adapt to make his own chances, you know, and he's clearly capable from creating his own chances, clearly, you know, of scoring goals. So I feel like the criticism's been a bit harsh on the boy, you know. I feel like he's a top. You take away the price tag, and you say that he came from an academy level. He's a top player. There's a top player in him. If you take away the price tag from the man, do you get what I'm saying? And say he rose up through an academy. It's uncomparable in the Premier League, I'd say.
Just Johnson says English football is quick and physical for Rasmus. He got to adapt. He's adapting. Next season, I expect better from Rasmus. I expect 20 goals since he scored 16 goals. And I expect Manchester United to sign top quality midfielders and wingers that will support him and get him then defenders that can pass the ball, loft the ball to him and play from the back. And fullbacks who are willing to cross the ball and whip it in. So I expect a better Manchester United team next season. We cannot go to the next season with the same players. Like, they know what they have to do. They will have to deliver. Moving on from signing the season, of course, player of the season. You know, there's a couple of players that's improved. I, first of all, will start off again. And this person will probably be my player of the season. And of course, the next award, your club. Diogo Dalot is my player of the season this season. Absolute instrumental throughout the whole season. And I think, to be honest with you, he's one of the players that's been the most consistent in terms of his performance. And I know our performance has been shit, but he's the one that's been consistent. I've seen him venture as an inverted fullback going into the midfield, scoring important goals for Manchester United this season. And you saw it yesterday as well against Brighton. So that was another important goal as well. But just being absolutely immense in general, like getting forward. He's improved so much under Eric Ten Hag. I think he's been one of the most shining light and the most positive things coming out of Eric Ten Hag's and Tanya. But apart from that, yeah, I'm going to go with Diogo Dalot as my player of the season. It's easy to go with Kobe Mainoo, but Kobe Mainoo only came in towards the later end of the season. But I gotta go with Diogo Dalot for what he's done throughout the whole season. Jerome, yourself?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to give it to Dallo as well. He's been a consistent performer throughout the season. Obviously, there's been a few games where he was a bit like off it and made a couple of errors, but obviously it's a marathon and he's not going to be perfect for every single game. But in a poor season, he's definitely showed glimpses of improvement, and he showed that he deserves to be here for next season, and he should be our first choice right back until we're able to buy an upgrade on him. He showed that he's been adaptable to be able to play right back, left back, get forward and get involved in the attacking play. He's come up with some important goals as well. So he's a good striker of the ball. I think he's a good all-round player. And I'm happy that we have him, to be honest with you. And he's been one of our positives this season. So I'll definitely give him player of the season.
And that's all by yourself, man. Who's your player of the season?
I'm gonna give it to Hoyson again. You know.
Okay.
I think Hoyson's been truly underrated. I saw a statement from Casemiro the other day, and it was like, at United, the disrespect is true disrespect, and like it's like we're one of the most hated clubs in England, innit? And when I deep Hoyson's every time, he's not a bad player, you know. He creates his own chances like the rest of the strikers at United has done. Plays a completely different game to the rest of the United strikers have done for what 10 years. Well, the last one was Lukaku, I think. So, you know, to come to United at the age of what? How old is he? 19.
19, like you said.
Yeah, he was 19. Come to United at the age of 19 and do what he's done. I can't remember any player that's done that. You know, there's not many players that has done what he's done at the age of 19. Ever, like literally ever. You take away the price tag, there's not many. So I think
I'll be honest
United's
with
got a gem
you.
on the front.
The only thing I say, sorry, just to let you finish off. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm done.
I was going to say, since Martial came in at the age of 18 and scoring 17 goals as well, so he's one of the players that's come through. Of course, I remember players that no one likes to talk about. Mason Greenwood's first season, I've seen 17 or 18 goals in his first season. And that was his inaugural season. Where he's broke through. So there's a couple of players, but it's in Manchester United's DNA to have
I was
these.
talking more like the
What, a signing or a
no,
academy
like
player?
the consistency. So when we was good, he was scoring every game. When it
Yeah,
felt like
6
Ten
in a
Hag's
row.
influence was on the game, we were scoring every game.
That was his purple patch, yeah.
But yeah,
So yeah, so it felt like when you want like what last season we were saying Weghorst was dead and we needed a guy that would score every game, and it felt like God brought us the answer. Like, you know, he's capable of scoring every game in a good team. It looked that way anyway.
yeah.
So I'm gonna give it to him. I'm gonna like when we was playing bad, he was bad. He was real bad, but it was team
And
collective. But when we was playing good, he was real good. You
I'm
know.
gonna throw back the question to you as well. Since you're on the mic right now, we're moving up to most improved player. You said Rasmus Holland is your player of the season. So who's your most improved player, Debs?
I know you lot are gonna try to kill me for this, but I'm gonna
No,
say
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not.
Champions League
Who?
and
Who?
Nana,
Who? Oh, no, no.
Champions League and Nana versus Premier League and Nana.
Uh-huh.
It's two different things, bro. Like what he done in the Champions League, what the hell was that? What the actual hell was that? And then it felt like he started picking up David De Gea's ghost. You know, where's David De Gea? Like, where is he? Like it felt like I started seeing double stops, like David De Gea stops. I'm thinking, okay, and you know, like when they show the camera angle and he's getting his lines correct when they miss chances and things like that. His foot's at the tip of the post, things like that. You know, he's getting his angles correct. Where Champions League, his angles were all off. His positioning skills was terrible. His agility, he looked like he was fat and sluggish. So I felt like he's adapted. I watched his interview the other day and he was like, it took about 6 months to adapt. Do you know what I'm saying? So when he said that, I said, "Yeah, man, you fully improved. Like you shut a lot of people's mouths, man. You look like a team leader right now."
And if you guys watch his interview in the overlap, you see how much of a leader Andre Onana is. You know, he did mention things about criticizing young players. Don't criticize the young players. Criticize us senior players. People like me. We said Maguire, and then Maguire's been had a lot of criticism. He doesn't even know about him and Bruno and etc. and Casemiro. But I like that. Jerome, yourself,
Yeah,
who has been the most improved player for yourself for Manchester
You know
United?
what? I can't even lie. I'll have to agree with Deps here. You know, like I think Onana has to get most improved because when he first came, in my head I kept quiet, but I was thinking, have you got it wrong here? So we bring the gear back. But I thought, let me not say it in the group chat because people will start getting excited and that. But he was just he just couldn't save anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was just I remember you saying before that he just looked stupid in goal. Like the
goals we conceded, bro.
He looked like some uncle that can't dive from the ball side and diving down in slow motion, and you're right, it just looks stupid. It just looked like, who's this guy? He just bought some falling, like literally. I just remember, who was it? It was it against Brighton? I think we must have all been in Liverpool for James's birthday, and we lost 3-1 at home to Brighton. I think I can't remember. I think someone ran through on goal and they kind of fainted and.
He went.
Fish. Literally. I looked at it, I thought, nah, get this keeper out, man. This guy's dumb, bro. Literally. Was this the turn of the year? He's improved. He's making some good saves, saving us a lot in a lot of the games. We start to see glimpses of his distribution. He was coming out and speaking to the media to own up to poor performances, so he's showing good leadership skills and accountability. So in that case, I think he's definitely improved. Obviously, the jury's still out because there's been some games where it's just like, how the hell did that go in? Like recently against Palace when we lost 4-0, he should have saved at least 2 of those goals. But to be fair, we did face a lot of shots in that game. So all in all, he's still got a lot to prove in the following season, but he's definitely improved a lot since from when he first came in.
Yeah, absolutely. Onana has improved since he's come in. After the 6 months, he adapted and became a keeper. Most improved player for me has to go again for Dalot, because you know what, he's improved a lot this whole entire season. I think one of the most positive thing coming out from Eric Ten Hag in terms of improving players, and Dalot has benefited a lot. I'm gonna skip let's skip the goal of the season. And actually, no, just without giving me any reason, just give me your goal of the season, and then we move on to the next one. And no explanation. Just I'm just gonna start off with my goal of the season. Alejandro Garnacho, Everton, bicycle. Jerome, your goal of the season for this season?
Yeah, Garnacho as well.
And Deps, what about you?
Garnacho.
Cool. All right, now let's go for the most. This is the donkey of the season. This is the player that's let you down the most. Who basically is like, man, in high school you was the man, homie. But what the fuck happened to you this season? Like, what is going on? The player that let you down the most, that just dropped off, fell off, and you know where we're going with this one. I don't think we need to spend our time with this one. You know, we're not going to take our time with this guy. Because this guy, we've all had enough. We're calling him a scrub. His name is Trashford. And I think you all will agree with me. Donkey of the season. For me, it has to go to Marcus Rashford. I've had enough of that scumbag. He's been here for 9-10 years. Yeah. And I bet you he averaged like 12 or 14 goals per season, you know. And once in a while, he gets the odd more than 20, but he's only done that like 3 times in 9 years. Let me tell you something, guys. 3 times in 9 years, Marcus Rashford has scored more than 20 goals. Majority of the time, and then there's a lot of times where he scored under 10 goals. And then you're wondering if he was X or not. Now, Marcus Rashford, donkey of the season. I don't want to explain anything even more. I don't want to go too deep into it because then it will turn personal and people think, rah, I don't like him. I love Rashford, but I'm had enough and I hope you get sold. Big man thing. I hope we get rid of you because you've never been it. You've never been it, bro. You've been here for 10 years. You are Mr. Manchester United. Mac, born and bred. You know everything about the football club, you know? But yet you play football like you don't want to play for us. You lack intelligence. IQ and everything. But yeah, man, I can go on and on. I can do a whole hour on Marcus Rashford alone, myself. I'm gonna give it up to you, Jerome.
Yeah, definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, Marcus Rashford.
Mhm.
Like this guy, I can't believe it. This guy stopped playing on the pitch. There's been a lot. This I can think of numerous games where he just stopped trying. The game at Newcastle, just jogging around the pitch, not going in for headers, pulling out of challenges. Every time we take a corner, he keeps on running to the corner flag instead of getting into the box. And I'm not having that. People are saying that's Eric Ten Hag tactics. There ain't no tactics. That's him taking it upon himself to put himself in that position so he doesn't have to go for headers and go for challenges. And he's what, 26 now? Was it 26, 27?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't seem to have improved his game since he was 19 in his debut. If anything, he's got worse. Because when he first started, he was a young, fresh, enthusiastic teenager, wanted to establish himself in the team. But now, because he's got his new contract, he thinks that he's made it and he's got the number 10 shirt. And he hasn't made it. He's not Mbappe. He's anything but Mbappe. And the worst thing is the work rate and not trying. There's a thing of not having the footballing ability, but when you're not even putting the work in and making it that we're playing with 10 men, yeah, I think it's time to go, literally. This guy hasn't improved his game. He's been under how many managers now? Top managers. He's been under Louis van Gaal. He's been under Mourinho. He's been under Oli. He's been under Ralph. He's been under ETH, and he hasn't improved a bit. That he's still running into players, refusing to pass the ball, always cutting in and shooting. He hasn't got no variety in his play. It looks like he's got slower as well. It looks like he's losing his pace. And if he loses his pace, then it's done. There's nothing there. He hasn't got anything else in his game. Like if the pace is gone, because that's what would carry him, like to take players on with and run into space. But if his pace is gone, then that's it. And we, for the last few years, especially under Oli, there was always excuses. The PR team was strong every minute. Oh, he's got a back injury. Oh, Rashford's playing with pain. He's not fully fit. Stop this bullshit. You're fit, but you're just not good enough, and that's what it is. And yeah, he needs to be sold. Sorry, but he needs to be sold. Like he's been the biggest disappointment in this campaign, especially because he scored 30 goals the previous season as well, which is it just looks like a one-off now. When you average it out, yeah, it's just a one-off. Like he's never scored a hat-trick either. Even Mateta scored a hat-trick yesterday at Palace. You got all these players, Nicholas Jackson. There's too many young, like hungry players out there that are performing. It's just embarrassing to see that we've got this guy with 300 and something K a week that's not putting in a shift in the team, and you got all these players from other teams that are like playing like their life depends on it. So we need to make some changes because all this kind of mentality and attitudes is holding the club back. So yeah, for me, he's the biggest donkey of them all this season.
And
we do have a couple other donkeys as well, but he's the worst.
And of course, Deps, you've had the final say as this is the last question. Who's your donkey of the season?
Jerome just ripped into Rashford.
I know. He went long. I forgot about timing him.
Listen, my whole season just flashed through my head, and he was. But you know me, like Rashford. Like I already knew he was inconsistent in it. It's one season you might get good out of him, one game you might not. But Maguire, bro, he's
too many donkeys.
Last season, I thought we got rid of him, bro. That I genuinely thought that he was no longer to be seen. And then we see him again. They give him credit when he scores, and we lose the game. They say he has good performances, and we don't keep clean sheets. Like I don't understand. I don't understand why he gets credit ever. It doesn't make sense. And he scores, we lose the game. We don't keep clean sheets. He has a resolute performance. We don't keep clean sheets. He's a star player on roughly the same money as Rashford. Like what the hell, bro? He has never delivered what Rashford delivered. Like if he delivered the opposite of 30 goals, Rashford 30 goals last season, then cool. At least you've done it somewhere. Leicester, United, somewhere has been some form of success. But his only success is keeping Hull above relegation, bro. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's easy. Like,
I don't know. He
we're winning it.
relegated Hull.
Yeah, he relegated. Like, he's got nothing. Like, there's nothing
2
there
relegations, isn't it? On the
to be a
CV.
star player. Like, and the same could be said for Bruno. It was a toss up between him and Bruno, bro. Like, Rashford, cool. Like, I already knew he was inconsistent. I already knew like he would stop running. I feel like all of them will stop running, including Maguire. But
If
obviously
Maguire
Rashford,
stops running, then we're finished because he can't run.
yeah. But Rashford just makes it look cool, basically. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they're all in the same. There's crabs in a bucket over there, where they're all in the same boat now, man.
Crabs in the
But
bucket like it's nines. Big up to everyone that's tuning in today, man. Smash that like button and share across all social media platform. Live again, live tomorrow on Sarcasm City at 4:30 with Flores and the rest of the man and doing Mandem United. And of course, Thursday should be live with Ola and for the Let's Talk Football. And Saturday, 2:40, the FA Cup final. God help us, bro. That's all I've got to say. God help us. That's all. We're hoping that Man City have a bad week in terms of like the hangover losses all the way until 8 p.m. Saturday, you know, where they just can't, they're too sluggish, they can't play, or we just playing magnificent football. But big up to everyone that's tuning right now. Smash that like button, guys. Share across all social media platforms. Follow Red United TV on YouTube. Of course, become a member of the channel by clicking on the membership button and select a perk that suits you. Follow Red United TV on Instagram, Red United TV 1, and follow me personally on X, Ivorian_Spice, same for Instagram, and follow Red United TV on Twitch, and those watching Rumble. We'll see you next week, Monday, for the final episode of the catch up, unless I'm going to do a
The
Euros
Euros.
catch up instead, which
You never know.
most likely might
The
happen.
Euros might be spicy, you know.
Yeah, the
Might be
Euros might be
spicy
spicy.
Euros.
We might have to do a Euros catch up instead, you know, and focus on that. Hopefully, England can go the way, but it is what it is, man. But big up to everyone. Love from me and love from Jerome and love from Depps, who just, I think he lost his connection. But we'll see you next week, Monday.
Yeah, see you then.
Remember to keep it United, to keep it Red United. Peace.